I was thinking, Strider said so many beautiful things last night, and his poem, I hope we all get a chance to revisit it, maybe in the newsletter or something. But because I have a funny, strange hookup here, the external sloppiness just stuck with me. And I thought it could be like a road sign, right? Like external sloppiness ahead, take refuge. That caught me this morning. That helped me this morning. External sloppiness ahead, guys. Take refuge. Because sometimes it's so, there's just nothing. There's nothing. And there's the personality kind of going, oh man, really? Maybe we should go home. It's been a good run. Here, let's break. Time to go practice. And then sit down in meditation, and it starts coming so fast that I wonder if I can not bounce out of the chair and make any sense at all. So it's a trip, real trip. External sloppiness ahead. I don't know that it's going to be the most popular Dharma talk. But it's funny, not out of wanting, but just out of how this all unfolds, and maybe some of you have experienced this as well. Pretense is not available. Insincerity is not available. So it maybe seems like a simple pointer. And the reason I say it over and over is because it's what this experience has found to be helpful and useful. As you transcend the levels of consciousness, the stakes get higher. The tsunamis get bigger. We have the wish and the hope that it's all going to be. Anyway, so the pointer of find the deepest sense within yourself that you currently have, your deepest understanding of the true nature, what is here beyond conceptualization, and anchor there. Take refuge there. Attend there. Because what we're up against is it's big. And sometimes I feel like I'm being dramatic, but I picked up the Way of Liberation, and the picture of our beautiful teacher is on this page. The false self. I'm going to read just to paraphrase a little bit of it. This is what we're up against. Not really against, that's making it sound a little dramatic, but the mesmerization, the seduction, appearing as the world, which is the separate self, is, as Dr. Hawkins said, quite seductive. The false self grows out of unconsciousness. It is a fragmented amalgam of many selves, tenuously bound together by a facade of normalcy. It is a divided house built upon an imaginary foundation, a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. It is the false self is the greatest barrier to the realization of our true identity of universal being. And he goes on to talk about what it's made up of, the circular nature. The problem is, few people ever develop true psychological autonomy. And even those who do are often still so entranced by the false self that they never imagine its illusory nature or what lies beyond it. But once true autonomy is developed, the self is no longer needed, in the same way that infancy is no longer needed when you grow into an adult. It may, however, be more accurate to say that it is the autonomy that is truly important, and that the false self is essentially an imaginary byproduct of the self-reflective mechanism of consciousness identifying itself with the endless movement of conditioned thinking. The problem is that the self that we became convinced was the real me is a phantom that exists only as an abstraction in your mind, animated by the conflicted emotional energy of separation, right? Thinking, believing, feeling, thinking, believing, feeling, thinking, believing, feeling, and all of a sudden there's a world. At the core of the false self is a void of deficiency derived from an essential turning away from one's own divinity. At the core of the false self is a void of deficiency derived from an essential turning away from one's own divinity. Either out of natural development, despair, or simply by succumbing to the trance of the world with all its masks of deception and harsh obligation to conform to its insanity. Harsh obligation to conform to its insanity. The false self orbits around this vacuous abyss at its core, in silent terror of its nameless, faceless threat of oblivion. So maybe I'm being dramatic, but Aja Shanti. It's both, the false self is both an obstacle and a doorway through which you must pass on your way to awakening to the dimension of being. As you pass through the void of self, the identification with self dies, either temporarily or permanently, and you are reborn as a presence